It actually breaks my heart to talk about today's topic. Welcome to the TTS show as we discuss handling toxic relationships. Ladies, there is so much in the news about women staying in abusive relationships, in toxic relationships, and cannot even get themselves to leave. I don't know if I'm the only one that is feeling concerned about this, or you have actually been.
It has definitely been in the news, and it's worrisome because it's one thing for you to know you are in a toxic relationship. It's another thing for you to find the courage to step out of the toxic relationship. But before we even go to the point of having the courage, what exactly is toxic signs? What are the toxicity? What are those things that people will say? For me, I would say when you get mentally, emotionally abusive, then it's toxic. When you start to play victim at my expense, then you are toxic. But what does it mean to be toxic to you ladies?
Yeah, I actually read somewhere where they wrote all take and no give. When one party takes and doesn't give, then the feeling of being drained all the time, lack of trust, hostile atmosphere, and conditions of disrespect.
Yes. When you're drained, you're giving all yourself all the time. You're not getting anything in return. But what about you, Flaky? What is toxic?
I think for me, it has to do with the fact that if I'm not happy, if I'm not looking forward to something, so even if I go home or I go somewhere and as I'm stepping into that place, there's like a cloud that has covered my face, and I'm always eager to get out and just be free, whether it's at home, it's at work. And we mustn't just look at toxic relationship just in terms of either you're single or married. It could even be in your casual relationships
with your friends.
Absolutely. So anything that doesn't give me that joy, where I can express myself as a person, I can be my full self, I can live my potential, I can live the best of my life, then there's something
wrong. And like Seymour said, she mentioned emotional, psychological. How about physical? There are a lot of women, the toxicity is in the physical abuse. But like I said earlier, they still choose to stay, maybe because of the
fear of what
children
the society says. Talking about that flourishing, I need to also mention that when people are in a relationship, toxicity isn't just what one person is doing to the other. Toxicity is what you are doing to yourself. A lot of women are in toxic relationship with themselves. And it all comes from maybe background experiences, past experiences, or the way they were brought up. I remember the story of a lady who was in a relationship. She felt she had found the one, but she realized that in that relationship, the moment the young man is coming to take her on a lunch date or a dinner date, she's afraid. She never, who would be in a relationship and not want to go on a lunch date with her partner? When you have such signs, that is a toxic relationship.
And I think a lot of emphasis is always on physical abuse. I think even the main thing, and which is priority for everyone that we should all take cognizance of, is the mental abuse.
Absolutely.
Because sometimes it's not about when someone is physically abusing you. The kind of words that the person tells you.
Say it's verbal. The verbal abuse.
Those things get to you, and your mental controls your physical. So if your mental is not even in a good state because of the fact that you have been in an abusive a relationship, then your mental, in terms of you walking, you being able to, your life and your purpose and everything that you do, it's not going to work.
So what you're saying is, for some women, it starts from the place of the verbal abuse.
Yes.
They take it in, they suck it in, it now gets to like a mental state issue, and then the emotions, because when you say mental, the emotions are involved, and for some, maybe yes, it degenerates to physical abuse. But as we have identified the causes, maybe because women don't want to leave because of their children and all of that, how can we actually, help women out there that are actually going through this at the moment. They're in that relationship, maybe the fear of, oh, I don't want to be alone. Oh, financial situation, who will take care of me? Who will take care of the children? Oh, what will people say if they hear? Or isolation, so people are, they're like, they don't talk to people. They are just, you know, by themselves, no friends, so there's nobody to talk to. So, but what we should realize is these women are dying silently. So what would you...
I would say that the first thing is, you see this phrase, what will people say, has destroyed more dreams, more happiness than anything else. If you want to get out of a toxic relationship as a woman, first of all, tell yourself the society doesn't define who you are.
Absolutely.
You define
Yep.
who you are. The society didn't get into that marriage with you. You got there on your own. So the society might have their definition of when you get into marriage, you have to stay there and die there. You tell yourself,
Stay there and die there.
that's the truth. You tell yourself, that's not my path. I want to be in this marriage for happiness, for growth. If for any reason, at any point in time, you feel like my mental state of mind, my peace of mind is being threatened, I'm not saying leave your marriage. I'm saying take a break.
Yes,
Talk
there's
to someone.
separation. You can actually...
You might not even separate. Just give yourself some space. Talk to someone. Seek help. Not just about your partner. Seek help with yourself.
But Seymour, speaking to that, what I actually... Maybe I'm coming from the legal point of view right now. You know, with the Marriage Act, it will say, okay, when a man and a woman, they divorce and all of that. But you don't actually have to go through the legal route of divorcing. There could be a moment of separation, like the literal separation, not divorce. So the literal separation, where even, especially when it is abusive to the point where it's physical, and you know your life is at stake. Those children, if you die, they will still live their life. So the first thing for you to do is actually seek, you know, separate from that for a while.
At what point? Because the truth is, this thing probably, I don't, well, maybe we're going to also come back to before the marriage. That did you not see signals, or did you just get into the marriage without knowing who you're getting married to? That's one. Then two, you know, before you can even marry someone, I'm sure there must have been some form of love, communication, connection, and all that. So at what point did it now degenerate to the level of hitting each other, you know, saying those kind of someone that you love, you cannot even sleep without, you know, and then you're saying horrible things like you're a fool and
There's a thin line between hatred and love, a very thin line.
So the question is, could, you know, at that point, maybe before it degenerates to a level where, you know, you're talking separation, is there no, maybe I feel that maybe there must have been a point where there was a communication breakdown, or maybe a party was not taking feedback or something.
It's a process. It's a process. I mean, if you look at how it's the same process with other relationships apart from marriage. If you have a friend, for example, you would have noticed the signs that, oh, this is toxic, you know, so you will try to, you know, endure, but it gets to a time you just snap. You snap by, maybe sometimes you don't even respond anymore. You just shut the person out of your life. But the difference is with marriage, you can't totally not shut out that person out of your life without a bit of drama, maybe divorce or whatever it is. So it would have been a process in the marriage. Both parties would have seen it. Maybe it's the man here, you know, that is abusing the woman. She would have seen it. It doesn't just start in a day. Maybe communication breakdown, starts with communication breakdown, and then verbal abuse, like you said, from verbal abuse to physical abuse and all of that.
A lot of times when people go through a toxic relationship, they all try to see how they can solve it. So they get family members, you know,
to reconcile.
But even in our environment where they'll say, oh, because you're married, don't let the other person know what's going on in your marriage. So a lot of people are always in that cage to say, oh, I don't want Mr. A to know what's going on in my marriage, so they keep it.
My marriage is messed
they
up
keep
or
it.
something.
This is killing a lot of women.
You know, and then when they get to a stage when it becomes really unbearable, then they now start seeking for help. At that point in time, it might even be too late. They would have really probably done quite a lot that would have affected their relationship, that there was really nothing that they can do.
Oh, the woman have gone through such emotional pain that she ends up committing suicide.
It could
just from that
things
process
that happen in toxic relationship. You know, so it's always good that people should, you know, you've talked about the fact that when it comes to relationship, it's not just about the marriage one, even your normal relationship.
Yes.
You need to evaluate your relationship
Exactly.
on a regular basis. Because there's no point.
That's one
if
solution
the
there,
relationship
yes.
is not helping you in any way, it's not making you a better person.
Exactly.
Then you let go. There's nothing.
Absolutely.
You will not be the first and you will not be the last. Absolutely. That's always my own thing about it.
But
you will
that's-
try your best to see if you can
Make it work.
Make it work.
Is
But
that
if it
easier
doesn't
said for
work-
marriage? You know, women are like, you know, if it's your girlfriend now or your male friend that is you're not married to, you can easily just say, hey, I shut you out, I put you on you understand? But but the thing is, for marriage, a lot of women see it as maybe it's the background, like you said, the upbringing, like, oh, marriage is
pressure.
is such, it's huge. Like it would have to take the very last straw to break the camel's back for me to say, okay, I'm doing away with my marriage.
Yeah.
Do you understand? But it's as huge as that in my mind. But having said that, from where you're coming from, if it is going to hurt you to the point where emotionally you're dying inside, nobody can see it, all of a sudden you just take some pills and kill yourself. If it gets to that point, as huge as it is, you need to make a move.
For me, I just feel that it shouldn't get to that level where it will degenerate to that. Do you know, if you really conduct a research, maybe you bring couples that are having such relationships, you find out that they probably, okay, maybe if the guy maybe hits them or something and then he buys them fancy gifts and all that, they sweep that stuff under the carpet. You know, underlying emotional issues that they're supposed to sit down and, you know, talk about,
yes.
or maybe talk to somebody that can, maybe a therapist, or you go to your pastors, or somebody that you know the man can listen to or the woman can listen to, you know, early enough. For me, because I am not an advocate of divorce, you know, I will feel that immediately you begin to see the signals, you know, do something about it. Seek help. Never let it degenerate to the level where you begin to hit each other or somebody kills herself or himself and all
You're
that.
not an advocate of divorce, but what happens if the woman has tried to seek help year in, year out, but rather than get solution, the situation
Keeps
is getting
getting
worse.
worse.
Her mental stability is destroyed she doesn't even know her worth, her value anymore. What would you say?
I'm not an advocate of divorce. Doesn't mean that it's not okay to separate for a while to see if it can work out. Because I wouldn't advise someone comes to me and tells me that her husband hits her, injures her, and I'll tell her to remain in that house. No. I wouldn't do that.
I want to
Simo, just, you know, before we move on to this, I'm actually looking at, because you were saying like, okay, it has been going on and going on. Can we really distinguish between a serial abuser or someone that abuses the spouse and someone, maybe a one-off, you know, maybe it just happened? Have you ever heard of such situations before? Or
well, there are definitely people who are serial abusers. They hurt you, they apologize, they sweet talk you, buy you gift, and then they abuse you.
will you tell the one-off to leave the marriage?
No.
It just happened one-off. I want us to speak to that. Because a lot of women, they say we should, once it touches you, leave.
Absolutely not. If
Yeah,
he abuses you the first time, he apologizes for it and he owns up to his mistakes. He never does it again. Then give him a chance. After all, God gives us 1,001 chances to make things right. We're talking about those who are serial abusers.
That's the one we're speaking to today.
I think everyone really should have a bit of emotional intelligence. You need to be able to understand where your limit is. So you know when you're angry, for instance, what do you need to do? You take a 7 seconds break or you count backwards, you know, just to calm you down. And it happens even in our marriages. When your husband is upset or something, somebody needs to
calm down.
Because
Exactly.
if not, so you have to understand yourself to that level, because most of these things is all management.
Absolutely.
It's all about management and getting the
Absolutely.
That's the truth.
You know, like we said in the beginning, this topic is actually one that we cannot finish today. But thank you, ladies. I think we've been able to get to some solutions. And one other solution is to talk to a therapist. You know, we have a giveaway from a doctor, Dr. Adeola, who is a mental health doctor. So for anyone that will subscribe to our YouTube channel and also follow us on Instagram, you can send a DM to us on Instagram, and you will be able to win a free session with Dr. Adeola, who is a mental health doctor. In fact, there are 2 free sessions. So for the first 2 people, that would subscribe and also like our page can send us a DM, and the giveaway will be yours. So on this note, we would like to say bye for now until we see you again on the set of the TCS. Bye for now.
Bye.